Broadcasting to viewers in Liberia and across the globe. Hello and welcome to News Today on KMTV. My name is Anthony Kukui. Wherever you're watching us from, we say thanks for joining our news broadcast tonight. Let's take a look at stories making headlines. Images captured by KMTV camera late Friday evening shows an LEC pole on Camp Johnson Road on fire. Was there any casualty? We shall be finding out. Grand Bassa County Senator Jonathan Capit vows not to give a prohibition to the printing of new money until conditions are met. And a one-day UNICEF and national government joint annual review meeting on Liberia's wide sector ends in Monrovia. Welcome once again to KMTV News. We begin with this development where a one-day UNICEF and national government joint annual review meeting on the Liberia's wide sector has ended in Liberia. The meeting, which brought together land ministries and agencies of government, including partners, reviewed some of the prospects as well as challenges within the sector, with a clear roadmap on the way forward to help improve service delivery. Speaking to reporters Friday at the end of the meeting was Deputy UNICEF representative who highlighted some of the contributions they have made to the sector and plans to help revamp the sector for the betterment of the Liberian people.
The areas where we have been working more with the government in the water and sanitation has been to provide water and sanitation in health facilities and in schools, and also promoting sanitation in the communities. Much of our work has been in the schools this year, where we have now managed to complete 102 schools in terms of providing them with water and sanitation. But we have not succeeded very well when it comes into the community sanitation. It's an area which requires intensive community work. But we are hopeful next year we'll be able to address some of those challenges. But the greatest satisfaction is with the coming in of the Liberia Water Commission. It has helped in bringing in coordination in terms of the Ministry of Public Works, Ministry of Education, and ENFIL in working together, and that in itself is reducing the cost of implementing when they work together. So whatever UNICEF is doing, is working on, is contributing to the realization of the targets set in the Pro-Poor Agenda for Prosperity and Development. UNICEF is basically focusing on the most marginalized communities, working with the government. That percentage, a small amount of money which may be in the bigger picture, is to focus on addressing the key bottlenecks in the water and sanitation which the government is experiencing.
Well, also speaking to reporters at the climax of the meeting was the chairman of the WASH Commission, Bobbitt Whitfield.
What we are doing here today is the annual review and year-end review of that work plan. The work plan is ready to take stock on what we said we would do in our work plan that we signed off on. How did we go? Did we achieve those things that we said we were going to do over the years? How many of our people have benefited? And if those things didn't happen within that period, what are we doing to get it done? But why in the first place it never happened? Because remember, those activities are there to impact the lives of our people positively. The 2019 UNICEF work plan is very rich. For example, there's an activity in our work plan that talked about 40,000 persons or people benefiting in the New Crew Town, West Point area with the construction of new toilet facilities. There are, projects or activities in our work plan that talk about over 100,000 of our students benefiting from improved sanitation facilities in school. I think we have not really done the monitoring and evaluation part. That is a bit of a challenge, but I can tell you going forward, the Commission have trained her staff. So there's a team now of government that is going to monitor and evaluate all of those activities that has been reported today. So come January, you're going to see the monitoring and evaluation, and it will actually validate those numbers that we've got in the work plan. So if we say, if for example, the Ministry of Health reported on maybe 100 hospitals, it is from the validation process, the monitoring evaluation will validate whether actually the 100 hospitals were impacted. If we say 40,000 people will benefit, it is from that process you can actually validate the numbers.
Grand Bassa County Senator Jonathan Kapin has called for more technical support in order to help improve the wax sector of Liberia. Speaking to reporters Friday, Senator Kapin said the sector is making some strides, but in a slow pace. As such, vigorous monitoring and evaluation is important to help improve in its activities.
We are reviewing activities planned by UNICEF and its collaborating partners. It's something for us to listen to and see how these plans that were planned and the implementation can be a boost to the wax sector. We must be able to understand in a holistic form the decentralization process. It goes in a holistic form. I mean, you talk about having water and sanitation in urban and both rural. You talk about decentralizing the activities of government at those different sectors. And I think the white sector is one sector that the people in the rural area may have been more disadvantaged, considering the fact that a lot of our people use creek water, a lot of them use even the river water to do almost everything they need. If they want to wash, they go there. If they want drinking water, they go there, and the rest of it. In fact, some people go as far as defecating on the particular river, depending what stream water you are, whether you're down or you're up. And so these are all challenges in our governance processes, and I'm glad that the establishment of the WASH Commission today, that is serving as the coordinating body, can now work with the different sectors to ensure, to see what they're doing and how they can put some flesh to the bones to ensure that the process is regulated. Numbers coming out of the different reportings are synchronized, so that when you say Liberia is performing in the sector, we can now have a coordinated, figures.
Over $600,000 Liberian dollars worth of marijuana were on Thursday confiscated by the Liberia National Police. According to the police spokesman Moses Carter, the drug was being transported in a blue Toyota Corolla station operated by a man identified as Maurice Kandakai, along with suspect Michael Stevens. Mr. Carter told reporters at the news conference Thursday that the police and the Drug Enforcement Agency remain very robust in fighting crimes and drug abuse as a means of saving the future generation.
The Liberia National Police on today, November 14, 2019, at about 11:50 a.m., confiscated 60 pieces of compressed marijuana valued at over 600,000 Liberian dollars that were confiscated today by officers of the Liberia National Police. And we have also thought to display to you the suspect that was commuting the drug, who is back there. If you look back there, he stands in a New York t-shirt, a yellow t-shirt, marked New York. He was the one commuting the drug that was arrested today. The suspects are currently in our custody and are being investigated on where these drugs were taken from, how were they brought to the country, and those details will be subsequently provided to members of the media. We would like to use this time to send a caveat to all drug dealers across the country that the Liberia National Police, in partnership with the statutory institution that is responsible to enforce drug enforcement in Liberia, the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency remains very robust in fighting crimes and drug abuse in our country as a means of saving the future of our generation.
The governor of Liberia has confirmed that it intends to change the current two denominations of Liberian banknotes currently being used in the country. Speaking at the Information Ministry regular Thursday press conference, Deputy Information Minister Eugene Fagon told reporters the strategy is intended to compel people to bring out monies they are allegedly holding at their various homes. He at the same time termed as false and misleading public speculation, accusing government of already printing unspecified amount of money without the authority of the legislature.
You may be aware by now that there are rumors circulating around this country that the government of Liberia has printed money. That is absolutely false, and it's a lie. To print money, you need a bank governor's signature on the money. How is it you're going to print money without authorization from the legislature by law? It's not possible. And if you print the money, whose signature will be on the money? So it's a lie. It's a calculated lie on the part of people lacking critical thinking. Because if you have an ounce of critical thinking, you will know that before you print money, you need authorization from the legislature. To print money requires money. And if we have that kind of money to print the money, why don't we go beyond the regularization of civil servant salaries? There are some boom-headed individuals that are privileged to have microphones in their hands in the morning and somehow do not take their time to even apply critical thinking when they get on the radio to make analysis. It's unfortunate, and they keep misleading our people. Printing new money is not the same as replacing your currency. When your currency is in circulation, you can decide to print new bank notes. But when you have a messed up currency and you don't know how much of your money is in circulation, and over 90% of your money is outside the banking sector, and you cannot find your own money, and you don't know where your own money is, the best thing to do is to change your currency so that those who have it in their houses can be forced to bring it outside. So we can know in this country who's holding 20 billion Liberian dollars if they have it.
Well, still on the printing of new Liberian banknotes, Grand Bassa County Senator Jonathan Capet, in an exclusive interview with KMTV on Friday, said he will vote against the printing of new banknotes. According to him, the issue is more technical and as such requires more time before decision can be reached.
That from the printing of money, from the transitional point of Mr. Salih to President Weah, there have been some issues. The issues are being whether people were authorized, for example, whether the money that printed were infused in the economy, whether the money is somewhere in somebody's closet. So these are all issues. But the reality is that when I hear people think that we need to print money to pay salary, they scare me. I don't want to participate in that kind of discussion. Because it presupposes that every time we have a shortage of paying our staff, the first thing we do is to run down to printing money. And that's an argument I don't want to go into. I think there are economic challenges, there are issues. So if you listen to the Crow report and the report from other institutions like the Auditor General and other people pointed out what they call internal control system. They're talking about mechanism that will allow when money is printed, how those money will be infused in the economy and what are the way it will be controlled. So before we close, we said no, because these policies as recommended by the Crow report and other report haven't been met. And so as we do this holistic approach, I feel that we should have more time to do all of the analysis, and printing money for me now should not be the first option. Verifying all of these and getting to know and building confidence in the banking sector, making sure that, for example, why do I put my money from under my mattress into the bank? The bank says instead of 2%, I will give you 20% or 5% on a saving account. Something should motivate people to re-establish their confidence in the bank. I think with these things being constant, we can get down to the question of printing new money. For what we stand, I think we shouldn't print money now. We should do all of the analysis and understand what the issues are, look at the internal control system, let the new governor sit and tell how you're going to implement a policy that will keep the money in the bank. When those are done, you get my support for printing your money.
You are watching News Today, half an hour news presentation that brings you up to date with unfoldings in Liberia. We still have a lot more developments coming up for you right after this break. Welcome back and thanks for rejoining. Let's now move on to this development where a pole belonging to the Library Electricity Corporation was late Friday evening seen partially burning on Camp Johnson Road. The pole contains several electrical cables. It is not clear what led to the incident, but some believe it may have happened as a result of high electrical tension from the power station situated on the Bourgeois Island. Onlookers, as you are seeing on your television, were standing in panic as the current was posing potential threat to the community, as some were referring to it as a Christmas light. Let's now take a look at the incident.
Thank you, bud. Thank you, bud.
Well, over to entertainment news now. A music group named E-Ball Music today entered into a recording contract with Tonga Slewa, popularly known as D Lawyer. E-Ball Music is a recording corporation owned and operated by Eric Tumput, with its principal place on business in Philadelphia, the USA. According to the contract document in our possession, E-Ball Music will, among other things, paid all production costs including video. Reading the document was E-Ball Music manager Wesley Brown.
The party wished to enter into this recording contract for the production and distribution of the recorded music of the artist. The parties therefore agreed to the following terms and conditions. At the sole discretion of the recording company, it shall release the artist's singles and album. Pursuant to the provision of this contract, the recording company shall be free to release the artist's singles and album which contains all the recording written and performed by the artist. Number 2, the recording company E-Ball Music shall be free to release the singles and album in multiple formats. However, the recording company is not and shall not be obliged to release the artist's album, and the artist shall not be entitled to any relief of the remedies if the recording company fails to release the album or singles. 3, on the other hand, the recording company E-Ball Music shall have the right to make all decisions with respect to the artist's album and single release. 4, the recording company E-Ball Music will pay all production costs such as beat production, studio time, mixing and mastering. The recording company E-Ball Music will also pay for video production for singles as well as promotion. In consideration of the full execution of this agreement and the rights granted by the artist to the company herein, E-Ball Company shall pay the artist an advance of 95,000 Liberian dollars, which is equivalent to $500 United, in connection with artist services hereunder. So a few days ago, he sent the amount, and that amount was given to him to just put himself into a position, maybe with one or two things that will not disturb him in terms of serving the entity.
Well, also making remarks was newly signed artist D Lawyer, who committed himself to the deal and called on Liberians to support his dream.
Yeah, actually, glad to the day that I've been waiting for a long time from the day I began with my career. First of all, before I begin, I would like to appreciate everybody that got me through, and I appreciate Today Pig, and I appreciate Igbo, also appreciate Wesley Brown serving as my manager in position. And I promised Igbo Music Recording Company that I will stay with Igbo Music Recording Company for the time that Igbo Recording Company signed me for. I will be humble and I will respect my manager and every colleague around me, because the peak I reached right now, that's what I've been waiting for in my career. So I appreciate everybody who's been guiding me through, and today I see myself here. And whatever you get with me, don't take it special with me, because my game, I'm talking about my game right now. So I appreciate everybody, and I want to say that everyone should promise me that they will guide me through my career, because when you damage my career, you damage me. So I'm going to give all my heart, my time to Igbo music and record the best of my best song of my taste and everyone taste. I say so.
Well, in sports, a tournament organized by club presidents to honor fallen Jai FC president will kick off tomorrow at the Bluefield in the PHP community. In the first game, Freeport FC will take on Stages FC, while Muscat FC will go against Jubilee FC. On Sunday, Heaven 11 will take on Tuni FC of Magibi County, while BYC will take on First Division side Watanga FC. Well, with that sporting development, that's how we go home on this weekend's edition of KMTV News Today. But before going, here once again are stories that made the headlines. Images captured by KMTV camera late Friday evening show a LEC pole on fire on Camp Johnson Road, but no casualty reported. Grand Bassa County Senator Jonathan Kape vows not to support the printing of new money until conditions are met. And a one-day UNICEF and national government joint annual review meeting on Liberia's wide sector ends in Monrovia. We say many thanks to you for always joining our news broadcast from across the globe. On behalf of the entire news team here, my name is Anthony Kuku. You can also visit our website at www.kmtvliberia.com for more news and information. Until then, do have yourself a pleasant weekend from Camp Johnson Road in Monrovia.